The Browns are re-signing Cade York. So let's talk about this on an at-home edition of the Cleveland Browns Report. Matthew Peterson here, talking about a subject I did not think would be on our horizon for the middle of March Madness, but Cade York is back on a future contract. Now, let me just kind of open up with, there's nothing wrong with Dustin Hopkins. Unless his leg got chewed off in a shark attack, Dustin Hopkins is still the number one kicker on this team. He is under contract for 2024. He comes off a phenomenal season. He went 8 for 8 from beyond 50 yards. In fact, I can read some more stats of what he was able to do and put them on screen for you guys as well. 91% field goal percentage. That was the best of his NFL career. Now, he did suffer a hamstring injury later in the year, right? I think it was on the Texans game during the kickoff on December 24th. We didn't see him play after that, unfortunately, but he was money all year long. He went 10 for 13 from 40 to 49 yards, and I think he had missed extra point or two. Yeah, he missed 2 extra points, but aside from that, Dustin Hopkins, he was awesome last year. So this is not a competition. Let's just kind of get that in the open right now. I personally think the Browns are re-signing Cade York maybe just to try and help him out. That was a guy that the Browns were really high on. Andrew Berry used a 4th-round draft pick on him. I think the Browns didn't want to give up on Cade York, but when he went 4 for 8 in the preseason last year and had some missed extra points all coming in the final 2 minutes of those preseason games. I remember the Eagles game had a missed field goal to either tie it or win it. The Browns had to do what was best for the rest of the roster. They could not let the 2023 season go down the drain because they had a kicker with the yips. So they made the right and smart move to go get Dustin Hopkins. So I'm thinking the Browns are like, well, let's bring him back. Let's see if we can try and get his confidence back. And if Dustin Hopkins, who has dealt with injuries throughout his NFL career, I'm looking at Dustin Hopkins' career right now. In 2017, he played half a season. In 2021, he bounced around. Last year in 2020, or 2 years ago in 2022, he only played 5 games. So he has missed time throughout his career. So maybe the Browns are thinking well, we probably should have a good idea of who our backup kicker could be. He won't be on the roster. But we can either put him on the practice squad or just let him hang out, and we'll give him a call if that day ever comes. And we don't have to scramble the Jets in November or December, kind of like they had to do last season to find Riley Patterson. So now they're trying to maybe get ahead of a potential future problem. And I think they want to see Cade York succeed, right? I think they want to have Cade York be a successful guy because this team was very high on him, the coaching staff, like Andrew Berry. I think just from a human element, they want Cade York to have a successful NFL career. So they're willing to let him come back on a future contract and kick around in the preseason if he makes it that far. And if something would happen to Hopkins, you're right there with the backup already. But even if Hopkins just stays healthy the whole year, at least Cade York has an opportunity to kind of kick again, maybe get some film and put it on tape for other teams to watch. I don't know. I'm kind of scratching my head at this one with you guys here. This was not something I thought I would be waking up to today and talking about, but it's Cade York. Got to talk about Cade York for 8 minutes, right? And he won them 2022 season opener against the Panthers, which, sure, looking back at it, not a very good use of a 4th-round pick, and there is some truth to the best kickers are like the UDFA ones, and if you draft a kicker, the pressure's on, and they can never quite deliver. So if Cade York's greatest contribution to the Cleveland Browns is a game winner against Baker and the Panthers, that's a pretty well-used 4th-round pick in my eyes, especially for a franchise that had not won in week 1 since their return. So if that's the best we ever get from Cade York, I'm okay with that transaction. I know we should probably strive for more out of 4th-round picks, but if someone put it on my desk the day before 2022 season opener, you can have Cade York for a 4th-round pick. He'll win you 1 game, but that'll be it. Deal. Yes, I'll take that deal. Let's kind of look at Cade York's stats from, I guess, his only season with the Browns, right? Back in 2022, he went 24 for 32. That was 75%. Keep in mind, Hopkins just went 91%. So a huge increase, right? From 50-plus yards, he was 4 of 7. Now, the issue with the extra points, he went 35 for 37 on extra points, and 40 to 49, he went 6 of 8. 30 to 39, he went 12 of 9. I mean, there were just some bad misses all throughout the season, and I don't think it was a coaching or holding issue because Bubba Ventrone and Corey Bojorquez got great kicker play out of Dustin Hopkins. So I think it was just all upstairs for Cade York, who's got a really, really strong leg. That's why the Browns used such an early draft pick on him. And I remember, like, before that draft, I was all over Dicker the kicker. I was like, let's get Cameron Dicker. They went with Cade York, and well, look what Dicker the kicker's doing now. His name rhymes. How could you pass on Dicker the kicker? So Cade York is back. Very, very odd. Very, very odd. All right. Let's spend the last, just 2 minutes here because I don't think we can really go too in-depth on a kicker signing. March Madness. How is everyone's brackets doing? I was doing pretty hot to start the overall weekend. I had Oakland over Kentucky. I just hate Kentucky. I think they sucked. I know their defense has been fraudulent all year, and it finally showed. So that was very nice to see. And then we've got other games like I had Samford over Kansas, and that was very close. Clean block. Didn't happen. But getting ready to watch the round of 32, my Tennessee Volunteers taking on Texas. Feeling good about it. Texas is not good. Like, they are overseeded, and they are just kind of riding off and I'm sure I'm going to regret all these words, but they are just riding off the name brand to get to where they are right now. They played awful against Colorado State. Lucky for them, Colorado State managed to play worse somehow. Tennessee played lights out against St. Peter, so I'm feeling confident about tonight's game. Other, just things that, UConn is just a wagon still. I know they only played one game, but, man, they're not even close games. I look back at UConn's results from last year when they won the Natty. I don't think any game was within 10 points. They just blew everyone out, essentially. So UConn is still UConn. We had not a whole lot of, madness, I felt like. Yale, of course, taking out Auburn was a bit of a surprise. And, just a brutal first 2 days now for the SEC, right? Only Texas A&M and Tennessee advancing past the first round. So it's been tough for the SEC. But all in all, I feel like this March has been a little bit more tamed, which I do have I do this personal belief of if one year it's chaos, it's madness, the next year it'll kind of come back down a little bit. So let me know how you guys brackets are doing, but we'll call it a show for now. Appreciate everyone for tuning in the middle of their Saturday. Cade York back with the Browns. I wouldn't read much into it. I don't think we have an actual kicker competition going on here. I just think the Browns are like, you know what, we like Cade. Let's give him another shot, and if we ever need him one day, we've got a good idea as to whether or not he can kick for us. So, Cade York, welcome back to Cleveland.